Okay, so we're now on to ratio expressing as a fraction or a percentage, so let's get into it. So the question says the ratio of black shirts to white shirts is 7 to 3. So black shirts to white shirts 7 to 3. What fraction of the shirts are black? Now let's visualize this to see what's going on a bit more clearly. So you've got black to white. So you've got black shirts is 7. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black shirts. White shirts, you've got 3. So 3 white shirts there. And it's saying what fraction of the shirts are black. Now, a fraction is always out of the total. So if you're looking at the black shirts, where you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 black shirts, 7 out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7 out of 10. And that is your answer. Okay, a common misconception here is just to go and say, well, black shirts, you can see you've got 7 of them out of a total of 3. That is definitely not correct. Okay, the fraction is always out of your total. So you've got 7 black out of a total of 10. And that is simply going to be your answer. Now, part B is saying what percentage of the shirts are black. So you're still looking at a black shirts, but now you're asking for the percentage. And we need to know that a percentage is going to be out of 100. Okay, so if we're given this fraction, we've got 7 over a total of 10. To get it to become out of 100, okay, we're looking at equivalent fractions. To get 10 to become 100, you can times through by 10. Do the same thing on the top, times through by 10. And say you've got 7 times 10 is going to give you 70. So 70 out of 100, which is the same thing as 70%, because per cent means per 100. And that is it. Okay, so really, right, 7 out of 10 and 70%, they mean the same thing. That is a fraction and this is a percentage. It's just being able to convert between both of them without a calculator. Okay, so let's go on to some my turn, your turns now. So the ratio of orange to blue counters 11 to 9. What fraction of the counters are blue? So let's get into it and let's write things out properly. So you've got orange to blue in the ratio 11 to 9, and you've got a total of how many there? Well, 11 to 9 is going to give you 20. So we're saying what fraction of the counters are blue? You've got 9 blue out of a total of 20, so it's going to give you 9 out of a total of 20. That is simply your answer for this one, 9 out of 20. Part B is saying what percentage of the counters are orange. Well, you can see that you've got 11 orange out of a total of 20. That's going to be your fraction. So we can begin there. So you've got 11 that are orange out of a total of 20. A percentage is going to be out of 100 because percent means per 100. Now to get from 20 to 100, you can times through by 5. You can times through by 5 because 20 times by 5 is 100. 11 by 5 is going to give you 55, which is going to give you 55%. And that is simply going to be your answer. Okay, this is your turn. The ratio of green pencils, so green pencils to yellow pencils is 8 to 7. What fraction of the pencils are green? So again, let's write things out properly. Right, you've got green to yellow is 8 to 17. So you're saying that your total number of pencils is 8 and 17, which is going to give you 25. What fraction of the pencils are green? You've got 8 out of a total of 25. So you've got 8 over 25 is simply your answer for this one. If I can write my 5 a bit more neatly, that will do. Perfect. There we go. Part B, what percentage of the pencils are yellow? So percentage this time are yellow. So you can see you've got yellow as 17 out of 25. Okay, so we can go and first of all do it as a fraction and say you've got 17 out of 25. And of course a percentage has got to be out of 100. So to get from 25 to become 100, you can times through by 4 and times through also by 4 on the top. And 17 times by 4 is going to be 68. So 68 out of 100, which is of course 68 and then percent. And that is your answer for this one up here. Good. So just a couple more, my turn, your turns, and then that's going to be it. So this time, the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep is 3 to 2 to 10. What fraction of the animals are cows? So let's go and write things out clearly here. So you've got pigs to cows to sheep is in a ratio 3 to 2 to 10, and of course go and add in a total column. 3 to is 5 and 10 is going to give you 15. So let's say what fraction of the animals are cows? Well, you've got 2 cows out of 15 in total, so you can go and say you've got 2 out of a total of 15, and that is simply going to be your answer for this one here. Okay, what percentage of the animals are sheep? So percentage are sheep. So if we look up here, right, sheep, we're looking at this one over here, which is 10 out of your total of 15. So you've got sheep, which is going to be 10 out of 15 is your fraction. Now you've got to get this to be out of 100. And the issue here is, right, to get from 15 to 100 easily is a bit more awkward. So what you can do is to get this right, to get from 15 to 100, you can do 100 divided by 15. And actually, just to show you what I mean by this, let's get out the calculator. Right, if I do 100 divided by 15, right, you get a nasty decimal. Right, this isn't particularly useful. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do actually, right, instead? I'm going to do this instead, right? This means, right, well, first of all, I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to go and divide that 10 by 5 and divide the 15 also by 5. 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2. 15 divided by 5 is going to give me 3. So these mean the same thing here. Now, I've got to get it to be out of 100, which actually is quite tricky in this case because 3 into 100 isn't particularly pleasant. You're going to get some sort of decimal. But what I can do is I know that this means 2 divided by 3. Okay, so using a bit of bus talk, I'm saying how many 3's go into 2. And it's not going to go into, we're going to go and add in a few zeros here to make it a bit more easy. Right, so 3 into 2, it doesn't go, so I can't do it. But I bring up my point and I carry over that 2. Now 3 into 20, if I do my 3 times table, is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. I can get it in 6 times to get me to 18 with 2 left over. And again, I go 3 into 20, goes 6 times with 2 left over. 3 into 20 goes 6 times with 2 left over. So 2/3 is the same thing as 0.666, so on and so forth. So I've got it into a fraction and a decimal. To get it into a percentage, right, I've got to go and do 0.66666 times 100. So 0.6666 times it by 100, okay, which is going to give me 66.6 recurring percent. Okay, so right, I've gone through that. It might seem like I was like, well, why are you going through all this process? And I could have just probably used a calculator, but I want to show you, right, the thinking that sometimes you've got to do. I might have actually made a mistake in the question. I made it a bit more awkward than I wanted to, but that is fine. I've gone through a process to get to what I need to eventually. By first of all, understanding that 10 over 15 is the same thing as 2/3, which means 2 divided by 3, and then use bus stop that we looked at previously to get me to 0.66666, and then to get from a decimal to a percentage from our FDP stuff, we times through by 100. Okay, to get me to this answer here. Yeah, alternatively, we could have looked at this in a different way. We could have said, well, and this is a bit of a cheeky way of doing it, really, you could have said, well, to get from 2/3 to be out of 100, right, to get from 3 to 100, you can times it by sort of 33.3 recurring, right? So you can times it by 33.333. Do the same thing up here, times by 33.333, which gets you to that 66.6. But I don't like having a decimal point in my fraction. Okay, so that's kind of okay, but I've just gone through it in a different process over there. Hopefully that kind of made sense. Now, on to the last, your turn. You've got the ratio of sugar to butter. So you can pause the video and you can try this one yourself. The ratio of sugar to butter to flour is 7 to 13 to 8. What fraction of the ingredients are butter? Okay, so again, let's get this out clearly. So you've got, let's do it in red. You've got sugar, you've got to butter, and you've got to flour, and then you've got to have a total over here, which I've done too high up. Oh, I've run out of room, bit total. Let's do it up here. So you've got sugar, 7 to 13 to 8. The total here is going to be 28. And we're looking at what fraction of the ingredients is butter, 13 over 28. So 13 out of 28 is simply your answer for that one over there. Good. What percentage of the ingredients are sugar? So we're looking at 7 out of 28. Okay, hopefully this one will be a little bit easier. Right, so we're looking at ingredients are sugar. So you've got 7 over 28. Now this one, to get it to become out of 100, we can go through a bit of a process here, and we can actually go and divide both of these numbers here by 7, first of all, and divide by 7, because 7 divided by 7 is going to give me 1. 28 divided by 7 is going to give me 4. Now this one will work out nicely, because to get from 4 to become 100, you can times through by 25, and you can times the top one there by 25, and say 1 by 25 is 25, 4 times 25 is 100, which is good. So that's equal to 25%, which is nice and it works out nicely, doesn't it? And probably I meant for this one to work out a bit more nicely, but this is the reality. The reality sometimes you do get more awkward situations, and you've got to be able to deal with it. So I've left that one in there. Anyway, that is it for this video. Any questions, of course, you can comment, and hopefully that was useful. And then we'll go on to the next video, which is proportion and recipes. Thank you.